You all good, boys?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Sarge for TBFM, and I'm joined by the DEFCON 1 boys.
Hello.
Hell yeah.
We do a quick round the table and you introduce yourself.
I'm Johnny, I play guitar. I'm Steve, play the bass.
I'm Davey, I sing.
And I'm Anton, I play the drums.
Well, welcome to Hammerfest. You played last night.
Yeah.
Went down pretty well. People are talking about it.
Cool.
Sounded heavy as fuck as ever. How'd it go? How'd you feel?
It was we loved it.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Place was packed and they all went crazy. Played a new track and honestly, the reception off the new track was insane.
They're good to hear. So how does it compare, sort of playing a fucking place full of caravans and playing indoors as compared to the other festivals?
It's a bit surreal playing in a Haven holiday park, considering I used to bring my kids into Haven all the time, so it's a bit weird, you know what I mean? But cool. I think the biggest downside of it yesterday was the battle pod for Star Wars was turned off and the air hockey wasn't on.
You're not the first to mention it. There's a lot of people wandering around looking at these machines turned off, looking lost. But still, the metal's plentiful.
Yeah.
So what's your sort of approach to festivals? Do you sort of get involved and socialite, or I kind of know what you do, but for the fans, are you sort of band who gets stuck in and talks to the fans, has a few beers and gets involved?
Definitely,
It's not just business.
No, I think that's what it's all about. You know, you've got to. We're fans of metal ourselves. You know what I mean? So you just get in with everybody else, didn't you? Really?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think that's a sign of the times for these days as well. I think the bands who are doing well are the bands who get involved with people, the bands who are a bit more outspoken.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about that, I mean, I guess you can't really be in a band these days without having to sort of get involved in social media and stuff. And you guys have been around the block a bit, so you've seen both sides of it. I mean, how do you find having to sort of market yourself and talk to people via Facebook now?
Facebook's really handy to get to people in other countries and stuff like that. And years ago, you had to travel around and give flyers out and stuff like that, where now it's much easier. You can go on there and you can just tell everyone and put a video up if they haven't heard of you and stuff. Like in the old days, you would get a vinyl, you'd go straight around to your mate's house, check these fuckers out, and you'd be putting the record on. Now it's like, check this link out.
Yeah.
People are firing your music around the world, you know.
I guess that's got to be quite a big difference, the fact that you can either do a gig or you can put an album out, and then you know what the fans are thinking within sort of 30 minutes. Whereas before you have to wait till the next gig, they turn up and tell you what they thought, or you read the review. Yeah. But now it's kind of instant, isn't it? And you've got this instant response.
It's good that you can have that contact with people who are into your music all the time, you know what I mean? It's not just we've got to wait until the next show before we can even have a crack with them. They can just message you, and we try to keep in contact with our fans all the time, like, you know. We try to keep them posted on stuff, but even interact with them, talk to them all the time online and that, you know. And
are there any downsides to that? Because obviously Facebook comes with its fucking baggage, that's for sure.
I will not talk about that.
But I mean, I think a lot for me, you know, I'm the sort of person who's very involved in Facebook in terms of business and music, and I think I know it's a lot of the bands who suffer are the ones who are negative online. I think. Do you think it's really important just to be purely positive on Facebook?
It is. I totally agree with you. Negativity gets you nowhere, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's counterproductive. You want to be rolling and moving forward all the time, like. And
definitely.
And you want everybody to be rolling with you.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on the European side of things. I mean, what's the difference these days between sort of playing in the UK and playing over in Europe? Because the scene's kind of always stayed over there, especially in places like Germany, hasn't it? Whereas we had the sort of dip, and we're sort of coming back up now. I mean, is it different over there still?
I've obviously. Previous bands I've played in, I've been over to Europe and stuff. DEFCON 1 still haven't been over to Europe.
Yeah.
I find it funny that in the 80s everyone was wearing denim cut-offs covered in patches. Europe, that never went away. It just stayed. You went in, and honestly, there was the A to fucking Z of heavy metal on the back of everyone's jackets. Now that's coming back over here.
Yeah, it's cool.
Put the rename in. Now it's a battle jacket. What's all that about? But hey, you know, and it was great to see it. It was you look out and you see all the cut-offs with all the patches on.
It's fantastic.
Where Europe, that kind of never went away.
Yeah,
they've always looked like that. I think they'll always look like that as well.
Yeah, I
think they just love the metal.
I think sometimes in this country people worry too much about what their scene looks like, don't they? Over there, they just do it for the passion of it.
That's it.
Definitely,
yeah. I mean, so talking about our Facebook fans, what I've done is I've asked for a few questions, for good or bad. And what is the worst venue toilets you've experienced?
Here, the backstage, fucking rotten. Honestly, there's no flusher. So someone's been crapping in there for like ever. Evil.
There's nothing worse than dropping your sweets on somebody else's candy.
You're backstage. You're backstage waiting to go on. I went out into the fucking crowd to use the toilets. Fuck using that, they're evil.
I guess that's the one thing about being in a band playing early, isn't it? You get the clean toilets. The later you go, the worse it is. I'm with you on that one. So on the flip side of things, what's the best you've been looked after? Best venue hospitality? Are there any people around who always really look after the bands when you go
Yeah,
there?
we did this gig in Manchester a few years ago for this ball, what was it, cancer ball thing. They looked after us really well.
Who was that?
They
Who was
were
that?
awesome.
I don't know, I've heard a lot of good things about him.
There was this little Barney Cockney or something.
Handy
He was
Duncan
great.
or something, was it?
Yeah.
No, I think that was opposite, like.
Yeah, I had this fucking band turn up with this massive drum kit. I told him he couldn't swap it over, but he reckons he could do it in 3 minutes. Never.
DEFCON 1, you get your 3-minute warning.
He said 4 minutes and he did it in 3, so fair play. I've been telling people that story for ages. So in terms of where you play, what's kind of like the first region? When you book at a tour, where's the very first place you'll put on your list that you always have to go back to? Is there anywhere that really sort of stands out as the one place?
We've got bars or clubs that we love going. I mean, Sanctuary Bar in Burnley, that's Intake.
Yeah, Mansfield, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah,
Great venue.
Look after you
in
there.
Manchester.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, after doing the Arches in Coventry, I'm really looking forward to going back to play there because that's great now. Another well-run place, you know.
Yeah, and the scene's really picking up around there. I think the promoters are collaborating a lot around that area, and people are sort of building up a really good reputation. It's good. So I like this question. Who's the whingiest member of the band?
Davey.
Me and Johnny pointed at Anton and you said Davey.
Did you whinge when I said it?
I de-whinge a lot. Like, I fall out with the fucking sat-nav and everything.
That's good going. So I like this question too. So what would be on your headstones?
Told you I was ill. I told you I was ill.
All right, so we're going to finish off with some ridiculous quickfire questions. So lager or cider?
Lager.
Cliff Burton or Lemmy?
Lemmy.
Ozzy or Dio?
Ozzy.
Megadeth, Metallica?
Metallica.
Denim or leather?
Who's wearing it?
You. Meat or veg?
Meat.
Yeah, I'm talking to the wrong people to ask that question, aren't I? And one for the serious one. Euro, in or out?
Still don't have a fucking
No, fucking nobody does.
Undecided.
All right, so really good to talk to you. So,
but are we going out or are we going out? That's the question.
we'll get Jeremy Corbyn to ask that one in members' question time.
I in the middle of Europe in my slippers with a pint of milk and a loaf of bread. Like, definitely not. Wondering what the fuck I'm doing.
So, what do the fans need to know about DEFCON 1 in 2016? Obviously, we've got the album coming out. I hear you've had a fantastic artist working on your cover artwork.
Yeah, it's great.
Probably one of the best in the business at the minute, I'm led to believe.
But look forward to your album, and hopefully it's going to make a big splash. But what we're going to look forward to in terms of tours and stuff like that, are you just planning on getting out as much as possible?
Yeah, as much as possible. We've got a few gigs in April, and then we're back to recording again. A few more festivals later on, but we're open for book. If anybody out there wants to book DEFCON 1, get in touch with us because we will play anywhere.
Awesome. As long as the toilets are decent.
As long as the toilets work. Yeah.
Well, very good to speak to you, boys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your. You're all off home now, aren't you? So
we've got a couple of more interviews and then we're bailing out. Yeah.
Well, we'll see you around on the scene. I'm sure we'll hook up again. But really good to talk to you.
Yeah,
Great show last night. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, Andy. Thanks, mate.
Man. Right.